Who's having a great time at the summit? I want to hear some noise. Yes, yes. Oh, I do need a clicker. Thank you, Rodney. So everyone's having a great time, right? Well, I am picking up so many nuggets from our speakers here today that I'm going to take back to my Corewell family and use them. I want to share some with you as well as we are here today. I am so excited about the opportunity to talk to you about my two favorite subjects, talent and inclusion. My two favorites, so let's get going. All righty. So, let's see. All righty. Now, when we're looking at the equation of talent, and we're looking at creative AI, also inclusive culture, and workforce resilience, what comes to mind for you when you're thinking of those topics? Anyone, just shout them out. Change. Anyone else? The future? Maybe? What'd you say? Sustainability. Complexity, I love that. When I think of these three topics, I really think of the fact that our world is changing. And it's changing at a speed faster than anyone can keep up with. Do you agree? So I study this stuff, right? It's a part of my job every single day to look up this stuff and to keep my department moving forward. And I swear, every time I read an article, I'm late. I'm late on what's going on in the technology world. Are you guys? We can't keep up. And then we have this topic of AI, right? And I'm almost just a little bit tired of hearing about AI. Are you? Are you? I mean, everything we read has to do with AI and artificial intelligence and how I'm going to lose my job and how we're going to restructure and just all the things that are going on. But guess what? It is the new way that we are going to be working. So we got to pay attention to it. It's the wave of the future. It's not just some tagline. It's not just some checkbox moment. This is changing the way that we do work. And so we have to get ready. So not only do we have to read articles, guess what else we have to do? We have to upskill. We have to study. We might even have to go back to school again and again and again. And what we can't do is be afraid. We can't be afraid of the future because the future is going to happen with or without us, but the people that prepare themselves, the organizations that prioritize and prepare themselves will absolutely lead us into the future. And so that's what we're going to talk about here today. We're going to talk about how we are going to position ourselves and then how organizations can move forward to drive change. You guys ready? Now, I have a caveat. I do not like a boring audience. Okay? So I need you guys, when I say something, I need you to say, or yeah, or raise your hand, do something, okay, to keep me engaged up here. Now, first of all, let's talk about understanding the Michigan workforce landscape. Now, I'm in healthcare. I've been in healthcare going on 30 years. I can't even believe it myself. I started out very young. I used to be the youngest person in the room, and now I'm the oldest. I am the oldest. I was just telling my colleague, Charlotte, who's right here, we were standing in the back, and I said, we're the oldest again. And she said, I'm not owning that, Jan. Quit saying that. So, 30 years in healthcare, but healthcare is changing. Over my career, I got to see two transformations in healthcare. One was the digital transformation, right? That happened back in the 2000s. That's when computers were introduced. If you're old like me, you remember a time when we did not have computers at work, right? There was a time, young people, where we did not have computers at work. Then I remember we only used computers for email. Anyone remember that? Okay. So that was a transformation, right? That digital transformation changed the way that we communicate with each other. Well, now we're in this AI transformation. And if you go back years and years and years, the other transformation that we saw was with the invention of cars and the automotive workforce, right? That was a transformation as well. Well, digging into AI, we are witnessing another revolution, and it's with artificial intelligence. Now, in healthcare, healthcare is forever changing, but what we see in healthcare is a clear shortage of people. And that's what this slide right here will show you. But it not only speaks to healthcare, it also speaks to other sectors within the economy. So not only are we having a shortage, we're also seeing a declining population in the state of Michigan as a whole. So what do we have to do? We have to gear up with our school partners, our educational facilities, and also looking at different ways of upskilling people. No longer are the days that we just get college degrees, right? When I was growing up, you went to school or you worked in the factory. Those are like the two options for you. Well, guess what? I have 3 sons, 2 of which graduated from college, none of which are using their degrees. Absolutely not. And do you know how I sacrificed to send these kids to college? And one is like selling stuff on Clearwater Beach. The other one is got a little casino in Ohio. None of which at all, are they using their degrees. With that being said, we also have a large population of people that no longer go to a job. Now, they may make money, but they're not going to a job, right? My boys, mind you, they don't even live in Michigan. My boys fall in that bracket. So what do we have to do as employers? We have to figure out a way to ignite and excite them back into the workforce because we need them. We absolutely need them. What's key to that, though, is looking at opportunities whereas they feel as if it's worth it to come work for us. We're flexible. You gotta pay. You gotta pay. You gotta be competitive. And you also have to tend to the needs of the new generations that are entering into the workforce. When you look at manufacturing right now has an aging population where a lot of their employees are aging out and retiring within the next 10 years. This data shows us up through 2030, and you can see how the shortages are in the different categories. So we as employers have to look at the data, and then also what can we do as employers to entice people back into the workforce. We have to make it invigorating. We have to make it fun. And guess what? We got to be nice to people. We're not always nice to people. We have to be nice to people. And it's very important that we as leaders provide psychological safety. And I'm going to talk on that a little bit more throughout the presentation. All righty, so looking at creative AI in the talent strategy. So I gave you my sentiments earlier about how much we're hearing about, reading about, talking about AI, and that is real, right? But how do you drive that into your talent strategy? How do you make it work for you? And so one thing we know for sure is that AI can absolutely enhance productivity. I read something that stated that AI can reduce, at a minimum, 11 hours of work per week. It doesn't matter what sector of the economy you're in, it has the ability to reduce, at a minimum, 11 hours per week. That might sound small, but if you do 11 times each one of your employees, that's a lot of productivity hours, right? How many of you actively use AI? I'm talking about you're sending out an email, a message, actively use it. I do too. I do too. AI actually helped me build this presentation. Okay? So I'm using it, and I love it. I do. I love now you do gotta check it. I heard you guys say that on the panel earlier. You absolutely have to check it, but it is my best friend. I mean, I don't have to write a memo. If I have an email I wanna send out and I don't really got the words together, I absolutely go to my best friend, which is AI. For our organization, it's Copilot, and that's what we use. So I love it. However, when you look at your strategies and you're looking at how to utilize it within your organization, there are methods which you have to safeguard against. In addition to that, I'm gonna move on to engage access to creativity. Now, we can think of AI like a relationship builder, right? AI is the tool that connects us from the work we do now to the future. And so AI is smarter than all of us. Did you guys know this? That AI is smarter than all of us? AI is building up pathways for us to see into the future. Now, I want to pause just for a second and see if you guys remember this. So, when you're like shopping or something online, and it'll say to you, how many boats are in the picture? Or how many stoplights do you see? Or how many cars are in the picture? Yes? Okay, we've been doing that for years. You realize this? We've been doing that for over about 15 years. Do you know what that was doing? It was training our mechanisms to read and see through AI. Can you believe that? I learned that at a conference. I didn't make that up. I did. And I just thought it was fascinating because we have been doing it for about 15 years. And then also driving the talent strategy. When you think about AI within our talent strategy, especially in recruitment and/or attraction, AI has the ability to alleviate mundane tasks, right? Tasks that we have in the past can now go over to AI. But organizations have to invest in the technology to support it. And what's interesting about that is that the technology that you may be looking at today can be much different 3 hours from now. It's moving that fast. And so I started by saying I'm always late, right? And so when my boss talks to me about, Jan, what's the future of AI? I'm like, hold on, wait a minute, let me look it up. Because what I read this morning while drinking my coffee is already mundane. It's moving at that high of a speed. All right, now we're gonna dip into culture and inclusion. Now I'm gonna tell you, culture and inclusion are probably the two most important ingredients for your organization to be a talent magnet. Why do I say so? Why do you say that, Jan? Well, culture drives your strategy. And if you don't have a culture that provides psychological safety, where people feel as if they are heard, where people feel as if you are being authentic, where people feel as if they are safe, then you won't lead the economy. In addition to that, inclusion. So I'm talking about all of us with our very many differences. Our organizations have to continue to pay attention to the need for inclusion. Organizations that get that right are absolutely talent magnets for the future. And so that is the secret sauce, in my opinion, to driving workforce resiliency into the future of what we need. In addition to that, leadership development, not just leadership development, all development. People within the workforce need to be developed. And it's not just a checkbox effort as it was 10 years ago. Guess what? We have to be developed in order to even sustain the amount of growth and change management that's happening in the world around us. And so it's very, very important. And not just leadership development, as I said, development within yourself. Now, if your organization isn't developing you, you develop yourself. Find mechanisms for you to educate yourself. Read up on topics. Network with individuals that are good in this space. Don't wait on organizations to promote you up. You build yourself up intellectually to fit into the future of tomorrow, because the future is here. The future is not 2030. The future is 2 hours from now. That's our future. And so we have to prepare ourselves for it. Now, the generational dynamics that we see in the workplace is wild, right? We have 5 generations in the workplace. Now, when we're looking at our millennials, our younger people, what do they appreciate? They want flexibility. They want authenticity. They also want purpose. Purpose is huge. Why am I here? Why am I being paid $17 an hour to work for you when I can DoorDash and I can make the kind of money that I want to make, still making $17 an hour? Why would I come to you? Well, how you get them to come to you is through purpose and flexibility and the ability to listen to what they tell you. Isn't that a novice idea? Listen to what they tell you. And so when I think about that, and then when you look at people like me and baby boomers, what we offer to the table is experience and mentorship as we are thinking about retirement. But that's what we offer. And then also employee resource groups. Employee resource groups are so important to organizations because they provide an outlet for individuals to have a voice. And so I always like to speak on employee resource groups because they're good within the organization when people sometimes feel as if they don't have a voice. It provides an outlet for them to have a voice. All righty. Now let's look at our global talent trends. Now, I spoke a little bit about remote work. Remote work is here to stay. It may, be a little different than what it was when we were in the pandemic, but our younger generation absolutely calls for remote work, right? And so organizations are now faced with, do we stay remote and our engagement is down? Do we bring people in? All of those things, but it's forever changing. It's a concept, though, that we cannot forget because it's needed for the future. Also, global mobility, the ability to attract individuals across borders is a huge opportunity for us. For us to say, I'm going to hire a chief legal counsel person from California, and that individual can work from there, it opens up talent doors for us. And then skill-based hiring. Someone talked on this earlier. We absolutely need to get away from the traditional job description, which says that you gotta have a bachelor's degree. You gotta have a master's degree. You gotta have 2 years in this. You gotta have 2 years in that. And hire more for skills-based hiring. A lot of companies right now are going to an apprenticeship model. How many of your companies have an apprenticeship model? Raise your hand. Okay, some of you. We have several at Corewell Health. What we figured out is that there are different pathways for different people. So the traditional going to college, while it's cool and it's needed, because mind you, I do need doctors and nurses. I am a head of talent for Corewell. I need somebody to take care of me when I get older. So it is needed, right? But there are other methods where we can attract talent into the organization. Micro-credentials, so your certifications, your apprenticeship programs, those are all ways. And then also engaging with AI, right? When you think about AI, and I was thinking about this last night, what type of jobs do you think will come out of AI? Probably content curators, right? That's going to be huge in the workforce. What about like an ethics professional? You know, somebody that's going to watch over what we're doing in AI. Those are all titles that are up and coming within our organizations due to AI. So what do? We have to prepare ourselves. We have to be ready so that we have a spot in the future. And then agile strategies. Not one strategy is going to fit all for each organization. I say the biggest thing for us to do is to listen. And we don't do that too well in leadership. We don't listen too well. We like to say, oh, I think they meant this, right? When actuality, our employees are telling us exactly what they need and what they want. And we just have to listen.
Excellent presentation. Thank you so much. So our first question is, with the talent shortage being so prominent, how do West Michigan employers attract outside of West Michigan and bring in new people to grow our West Michigan talent pool?
Interesting question, because I'm not from West Michigan, and here I am.
Right.
I could tell you, being from the east side of the state and now working over here for the past 3 years, the biggest selling factor is that West Michigan is just absolutely beautiful. I mean, surrounded by waters, and I mean, it's a beautiful place to be, a beautiful place to grow your family and live. And, you know, I was introduced to Michigan Ice, right? And one of my colleagues said, oh no, they weren't really telling you the truth. That was Michigan Ice. And I'm like, what do you mean Michigan Ice? But overall, my experience is that everyone has been very, very nice, and I think that's a selling point. Now, flexibility is key today. I know organizations are moving away from it. Flexibility is key because they do not have to work for you. You know, individuals can go to DoorDash, they could do Lyft, they could do Uber, places where they can set their own schedule. So flexibility is key. Compensation is key. People want to get paid. And so you definitely have to be competitive in the marketplace in order to attract people, but also to retain them. And I would say the biggest piece of the puzzle is development. Investing in your people, and not just at the leadership level, because we always talk about leadership development. No, we have to invest in everyone. And so if organizations could shift their dollars from something else to really investing in their people, when you have been invested in, you feel as if you are a part of the family, that you belong, that your employer cares about you. All along, that investment then will bring you more money, more opportunity, and all those types of things. So I think that those are truly the secret things to bring people to West Michigan and keep them here. But ultimately, it's a great place to be.
Thank you. So this is a great question, how do we navigate AI on resumes? Are employers reluctant or put off by candidates that use AI?
So, great question, whoever answered that question. So I would say use AI to help create your resume. That's what I would say. However, organizations are moving away from people actually looking at your resume. You know, we have technology now that can scan your resume for keywords and to see if you fit or match to positions. And so that's the wave of the future. So if you're worried about AI writing your resume, my opinion is that I don't think it really matters, because AI is going to be reading the AI resume, okay? And not people. So that's one of those things where you have mundane tasks in the recruitment process that will eventually go away and technology will take over.
Awesome. Last question before lunch. What kind of AI training programs do you have to help new managers?
To help new managers. We invested at Corewell within talent attraction this year in a technology called AI HR. And it's a platform that it's not for leaders only, but for all of our employees, whereas you can go on there and really build up your skills and your competencies around AI, around different modalities within HR, for free. So all of our employees within TA, and we have just over 200 of them, have that ability to use that technology. So that's what we use. However, it is ever changing. So there's new technology. All you gotta do is Google, and you're gonna find 50 million platforms out there for your companies to invest in. We also use AI within our workflows. We use Phenom. We have a section of Workday that has an AI component. And I know at Corewell Health, I'm really being tested to see what is the new technology in TA that we want to invest in. And I'm sure your organizations are doing that as well, because it is the wave of the future. As I stated earlier, it's not going away. This is not a checkbox effort. This is a revolution that we're living in right now. And we have to really dive into it and upskill ourselves and make sure that we're ahead of the curve. If there are classes that you can take them. If there are programs that you can take, do that. When you start seeing those jobs out there where it's like an ethics professional with AI, look into it. Content creators, look into it, because that is the wave of the future. Don't be absent of it at all. Anything else?
I think you nailed it. Thank you so much.
Well, let me say this.
Go ahead.
Let me say this before I get off this stage. I want to thank each and every one of you. I had such a good time here today. I always love coming to talk about my favorite topics, which I told you is talent and inclusion, my two favorite topics. So thank you all for your time today. Really appreciate it.